Hey, how you doing? I'm Greg Lumley. I'm a wedding photographer, and today I'm going to talk about the official royal wedding photos, well, the three that I know of at the moment that have been released. It seems to me as though a lot of people are up in arms about it. Oh, you should have done this. Oh, you should have done that. Oh, you should have done the next thing. The pictures were done by Alex Lubomirsky. He has got a set of celebrities on his portfolio as long as my arm. So he is clearly used to working with all kinds of very, very important people and lots of people who are also very, very famous. But that doesn't make him a wedding photographer. Alex clearly does not specialize in weddings, right? So one would think that if you were a commercial photographer, by rights, you should be better than a wedding photographer. Maybe that was the past, but today that's not the case at all. Alex is clearly used to working with models and people who know exactly how to pose, or who will listen to and get right what he needs to get from them, right? He's also, when you're a commercial photographer, generally what you're going to be doing is any photographs that are taken are going to have to be done, or are going to be done in pretty much all the time that you want through the day. Wedding photos are an entirely different story, even the royal wedding photos. Now, to date, we've only seen 3 pictures, and I've had a look at them, and they're not terrible, but there are some things that I find really, really jarring. I thought what I'd like to do is actually have a look at this, at the images myself, and give you what I think is good and what is bad. Something that I do want to say is a wedding is an unbelievably unpredictable environment. Are you at a photo shoot or are you at a wedding? Now, technically, when you work with people that are this famous, you could technically be at a photo shoot. However, you've got people who have got things to do, people to meet, places to go, and they will pressure you into a corner and you will not have a lot of time to mess around at all. Also, I've walked into weddings where the photographs, I've been so excited about working with a specific bride, so excited about working in a specific environment, and because of the way the client has reacted to me, because of the way they've shut me down in terms of going, oh, well, I want to get to drinks, or I want to do this, or I want to do that, it has literally shut the entire shoot down. And of course, the reverse happens as well. Every now and again, you'll walk into a wedding and you'll kind of go, ah, these are going to be okay. And the most amazing stuff results. I cannot stress this enough. You are not walking as a wedding photographer into a shoot that can be fully controlled. Even a royal wedding, they are not fully controllable. End of, no matter who, when, where, what, and especially I can imagine the kind of time pressure that this guy would have had on him would also not have helped. But that being said, let us have a look at photo number 1. Everybody looks quite posed. I quite like the way he's arranged everyone. I think it actually works quite nicely. I wouldn't mind it if seeing just a little bit of full light on Camilla over here. The thing that really bothers me here, even more than this little lady that has been clipped off in the shot, having a look at this room, is the angle that he's taken the photograph. Now, we have to keep in mind that he could be standing where he is, point of view, and there could be a whole lot of people around him. So he might very well not be able to move to the angle that he wants to, or the light might be wrong. Something might actually be stopping him. So it's all very well for me to sit there and say, well, what the heck was he thinking when he chose this odd angle in this room? I mean, this room just right now screams uniformity. It absolutely says, I want to be taken. All the lines must be used correctly. Everything must be used perfectly, unless it's a Dutch tilt, which obviously you can't do in a photograph like this. So looking at that, I just can't understand why he took this photo. But again, I cannot stress enough, there is very possibly a reason that he actually chose this angle. Something that I do like about the photograph is, well, if you actually have a look at the shot, it's a green and gold room, and everybody is wearing, well, green and shades of green and yellow. So that all works in terms of a styling point of view. So I don't think he's chosen this room by mistake, or been basically told, that's the room you shall shoot in, and that is the end of that. I think it's been intentionally chosen, because when we look at a previous royal wedding photograph here of Prince William, can you see all the red? Have a look at all the red going on in the background over here. And everything's matching up and styling up. The gold is matching up with the Queen really, really nicely. It's all working actually really beautifully. So it works nicely at the end of the day. And I think they've done, oh, we don't want to go there yet. We're going to get to that photo in a second. So If I had to have one major criticism about this shot, it's probably the fact that those lines, I mean, look at how skew these lines are. I just don't understand what is going on here. Look at this. Look at this over here and over here. All of these lines, you're just getting this kind of V effect happening on the shot, which I just can't understand at all. It freaks me out a bit, I've got to be honest. Then, of course, if we have a look at the little lady over here, let's go there and get something that's really bright. Let's create a new layer so we can work on that. This sort of, well, what am I on? Flow. Let's maximize that right up and Control Z. Okay. This little young lady over here that's been cut off in the corner, like to that degree. We've got her cut right off, and we've got something happening over here. We've got a kind of even balance from these guys to these guys. So that's kind of working. That kind of seems okay. However, it just, yeah, what is he thinking over there? I don't understand. I don't understand. Again, maybe there is a reason. Maybe there was somebody standing there. I don't know, a security guard, a massive urn, and on the right-hand side over here where this little young lady is, he just couldn't get further. Ideally, he should have shot further away and a longer lens. But again, you don't know what is offset. You just don't know what we cannot see. And that is really, really important. What else? Everything else works for me over here. Some people have complained about this young lady not looking at the photo, at the camera. Oh boy, let me tell you, if you're one of those people that right now is complaining about this young lady over here, then you have not tried to take photos of children. Having a look at all of these kids over here, look at that. We have got, out of the, how many kids is it? That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids. Of the 9 kids, if I've missed one, sue me, I'm not unaccounted. Of the 9 kids, only 1 isn't looking at camera. Let me tell you that when I shoot, if I have 2 children in a photograph, they generally mess it up in one way or the other. You'll get one and they'll change it. And I don't mean, that's not a horrible thing to say about children, but children don't get this. And nor should they. They're kids, so they don't have to. But they are so hard to get great photographs of. So you never know. There's one other reason that this picture might be the one chosen, is because it might be the one where he managed to get everybody looking at the camera. Now, what some people might say is, well, just a Photoshopper in later. The thing about it is that if you try and Photoshop this young lady in over here later, if you don't have the right stuff to fill in the background, it makes it very, very difficult, if not virtually impossible. And believe you me, if he had gotten her looking front on and photoshopped it, oh my God, if the internet didn't go off then with this, they would go off even worse after the fact. Biggest problem is this young lady being chopped off over in the corner here. Really not mad about that. And these lines, man, these lines, they just make me see this. It just feels like the whole photograph wants to go whoa at you. Anyway, that's oops, we don't want to do that. That's my opinion on that shot. Right, so let's look at the next shot. Oh, we're going to get to that one as well. All right, so having a look at this shot again. What is with that framing? I don't understand this framing. What is with that framing? So again, similar sort of problem. Let me just do something over here. Add a new layer quickly. There we go. Cool. Right. So again, we've got this problem over here. Let's get nice and clear. We've got these lines again. See that? They're all forming this V. So his perspective, he should have dropped his angle, and that would have actually allowed him, especially over here, that would have actually allowed him to actually to perfect the perspective within the actual room. Another way of doing this, of course, is to shoot slightly wider and further away on a longer lens, and you can actually just later on, you can skew it inside Photoshop. Well, this, what is that? What is that? Let's have a look at that. Oh, that's not got too far in. That is the reflection in a mirror of her dress. Doesn't work for me at all. What I might have done is maybe moved everybody across, covering the mirror, just so it doesn't have that massive distraction. But again, coming back to it, and I keep on saying this, maybe there's a reason they are specifically placing right over there. Even if I were to just simply take a, let's just take a black brush over here, and let's just, let's go over here and just, I don't know, zap it over there and just, okay, over there, and tab. Well, now there's just a big black hole. That just looks terrible. So it feels awkward. It feels horrible. But I still prefer it to actually having a look-see at that nasty... go away, go away, go away, go away. I don't want you. Control-Shift-D. Let's get rid of that. Control-D. Yeah. I still prefer it much more to seeing the dress sort of leaking through in the background there. That just does not do it for me in the slightest. It really doesn't. Okay, what else? So then again, we've got framing over here. Let's actually have a look at framing. We've got the image finishing off quite nicely on the right hand side over here. That finishes off quite nicely. It feels like the image should kind of finish off about there, right? But in fact, what he's done is he's actually got this massive piece of big space over here. Now, this often happens when you're shooting. Sometimes somebody will raise their hand up, and when that happens, you kind of get stuck. Should I have their hand in the shot or should I not? And that's obviously what is happening with the dress over here. Let me just undo all of that, create a new layer. So I've got a nice new layer to work on. So by rights, what he could have actually done is he could have actually just done this. And right away we have a more balanced photograph. Another thing that's kind of really bothering me about this photograph here is, let's zoom right out, is this guy over here. That just feels awkward as hell. Really? What's this leaning over? I don't know. So I don't know why he's doing that. But again, we come back to the variable in the scenario. We have a bunch of children. You can give them orders. These are royals, so they might even be really snotty, although I have a feeling they've been brought up with impeccable manners. They might just flip you the finger mentally. And then there's nothing that you can do. So when you're sitting there as a photographer telling that little guy, listen, don't lean over like that because it kind of looks awkward. I need you to stand straight up to try and sort of perfect that pose. He might just not absolutely give you anything. What we've got over here, which is pretty cool, is again, more styling. You've got all of the flowers over here. They match the background green, and that's lovely. The lines just make me twitch, man. I can't get past those lines. Really, that just absolutely drives me demented. Okay, so what else have we got? That's about my feeling for this particular shot. Lighting is okay. So something I did notice is the desaturation. So have a look over here at Prince William's photograph. Let me just see if I can find it over here. Look at the warmth in the pictures. So there's none of that desaturation going on. But as we come back over here to these guys, we've got a whole desaturated look going on. So that's obviously something that's been changed. Interesting, hey? The trend's in wedding photography. Desaturated look is in for now. We'll see what happens next. Right, let us go to the black and white image. For me, this image screams that Alex does not know how to work with people who don't know how to pose. Now, obviously, Prince Harry has been in front of cameras, but he doesn't generally do photo shoots. Right here, this arm. What is going on with this arm? What is this over here? Man, that looks awkward. I don't understand what's going on over here. Now, having a look at the pose as I see it, what's actually happening is he's simply just stabilizing himself, right? And if you were to put his hand, say, over here, it might have looked quite a bit better. But without his hand over here, it feels like he's about to fall over. And that's why I just come right back to Alex does not know how to work with people who don't pose. I can see the way he's sitting. I've worked with many couples in this exact scenario because I also love doing a pose quite similar to this. And it works well, but his foot is in the wrong place, so he's actually sitting in a weird position that isn't working. And I'll often say to my clients, if it feels awkward, change it because it's going to look awkward, and it does look awkward. Why he framed out of shot the way, why he cropped the shot the way he did, I just don't know. In terms of lighting on the shot, well, again, now you're at a wedding, so he might be told this is where you're going to shoot, and that's the end of that. So looking at the actual shot itself, I'm a big contrast guy. I really like contrast, and this is just flat, 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 flat. I mean, look at that. It can't get any flatter than that. I like a little bit of contrast, and that could easily have been solved, very easily have been solved, simply by having a, where's that light coming from? Let's look for those shadows. Looks like it's actually coming from, looks like, so looking at the shadow over here, I'm not entirely sure where the light's coming from. It looks, in fact, like it's almost coming directly from above, in which case he might just be in a sort of a dead patch over here, a piece of shade. I don't know if he used, I doubt he would have used scrims or reflectors, but he could have, who knows. So that light looks like it's coming directly from above, but it's hard to tell because you can't see a reference point for these shadows. I'm presuming this part over here is some hedge that's just out of shot, and that would actually mean that that light is coming from above. You'll see it's also diffused. It's diffused, so it's not full harsh contrast light, which means that there must be some cloud going on or something is diffusing the light. But for me, this shot is just flat, flat, flat. Now, this is actually really easily solved, really easily, by just having somebody stand with an off-camera flash, just firing either from there or from here, and you get a really, really nice contrast going on, which lightens the shot up very, very quickly. And you know what? That will take no extra time. It's as quick as that. So it's not going to be like they're going, hey guys, Mr. Photographer, when are you going to be done? When are you going to be done? It's not going to be like that at all. Okay, right, so other things that bother me is I love her smile over here. But what's bothering me is I'm immediately drawn to what she's looking at, because she's not sort of looking down, having a little like moment. She's like looking at something and smiling at it. So something has caught her attention, and that bothers me. However, that being said, who cares? Look at that. Overall, that is a really nice shot of the two of them. Beautiful. Just this leg feels like it should be over here, or even up over here with his foot sitting. In fact, let me try and do. Oh no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We want to do this instead. If his knee was up over here with his foot over here, kind of thing, she could have leant her elbow up over here. It would have made him feel a lot more comfortable. That would have actually stabilized his body so that he wouldn't be kind of like doing this odd lean back as she leant into him over here, which would have meant the whole pose would have worked. And I might even have put his other foot up over here. Who knows? We'd see. But at the end of the day, the whole pose would feel right. What I tend to do when I work with people like this is that I'll say to her, for example, look over there, laugh at that. Look over there, laugh at that. Look at me, laugh at. Look at her nose. Look at the bridge of her nose. Laugh at that. Look at his, what is that? Look at his wings. Laugh at those. Look at your bouquet. Laugh at those. Have a little bit of a smile. Now that sounds like a heck of a lot of orders, but what I find is that as you're busy working with people, they kind of get into it before you know it, and then they start feeling a little bit silly, which starts making them laugh even more. And at the end of the day, that works really nicely, because then you start to get these beautiful poses out of them where they actually just for a second forgot that there was this guy with a big ass camera pointing in their face. So one thing I just want to come right back to saying it. Guys, give the guy a break. You don't know what the scenario was. Maybe Prince Philip was going, oh bugger, I just want to get out of here now. Who knows? You weren't there, so you cannot place yourself in that scenario.